let's talk about this first fight. This fight, now, have you followed any of these guys?
No.
Okay, so this fight is really intriguing to me in a lot of perspectives because you got two guys that are very, very similar in their approach, very technically sound. But you got one guy who, in Rob Font, who kind of starts off a little bit quicker. For my money, he has a little bit sharper hands, very good traditional style boxing. He's got good grappling behind him, very well-rounded. He's got 5-round experience. And the guy's sharp. I mean, the guy's super, super sharp. Then on the next side, you have Marlon Vera, who is very technical as well. I think he's very underappreciated, guys, to be honest with you. One thing about Marlon Vera is the guy is a lot better than people put him out to be. The problem that people do have with him, and the problem I do have with him slightly, is that he tends to start late. He tends to, take that one round to really digest everything that's going on, to like kind of dial you in, and then he works from there. Now, that's usually a problem in a 3-round fight, because what happens is now you're going in and you are giving up a half a round, you're giving up 3/4 a round, possibly giving up the whole round because you're trying to get your feet wet, you're trying to, eat what he's giving you to go back and make your adjustments. That's where the problem usually lies with Marlon Vera. Sometimes he gets off a little bit too late, and by the time he starts making his adjustments, by the time he starts making his reads, he could fall behind on the cards a little bit. A little bit different here with a 5-round fight. He's got 5 rounds to work here, so that approach can work in his favor. If you look at the numbers here now, I don't know if I personally think, I do agree with these numbers. You got Rob Font 8,300, Vera 7,900. You got Vera plus 115. The comeback on Rob Font is minus 135. I have no problems with that. The Vegas lines I have no problems with. The DraftKings lines I have no problems with. But the thing that I'm seeing here is that, when you got somebody like Rob Font, the big question here for me is the adjustments. We already know what Marlon Vera is going to do. He's going to come in. He's got that approach. He's got the very tricky front kicks. He sends them up the middle. He will use that to kind of keep you at bay as he's reading you. When you're walking and you're kind of, walking Marlon Vera down, he can sit there and he can stick you, but he uses that front kick to kind of keep you at bay, to give you a warning shot, say, I'm not done reading you. I'm not digesting what you're throwing at me. And he kind of keeps you back. Sometimes he'll catch you. Sometimes he'll knock you out with it. But he kind of uses it as a way to pause you and kind of freeze you until he really dials in and registers what you're doing. Once he does that, then he comes out and he starts serving you what you're giving him. He tries to give it back to you. He tries to find the loopholes, and he makes the adjustments. Rob Font fights one way. Rob Font comes in and he's right out of the gate. He's looking for pressure. He's looking to lay hands on you, and he's looking for that offensive attack right out of the gate. So now, what happens when Rob Font has success in that first round, which I expect him to against Marlon Vera, and Marlon Vera makes his adjustments now and starts showing him different looks? Is Rob Font going to be able to play the adjustment game back and forth with Vera? That's where it gets interesting. So when you look in the feet, when you look at both of these guys standing, I would say Rob Font has better hands. I'd say he's a little bit sharper. He's a little bit quicker. He cuts angles a little bit better. I think his combination's a little bit more technical, a little bit more crisp. And I would say he's sharp. He's a little bit faster. When you look at Marlon Vera on the ground, the thing that on the feet, the thing that makes him dangerous is he's a switch fighter. He's a little bit more unorthodox. He knows how to switch stances. If he doesn't feel like he's getting a read one way, he'll go southpaw. He'll go orthodox. He'll go. He can change the reads. Where Rob Font is more of an orthodox fighter, where he's giving you what he's giving you, and that's what he's giving you. And Marlon Vera is the type of guy where if orthodox isn't working, he could switch to southpaw. He can continue to move and continue to give you different looks. So that's my question here. Is Rob Font going to be able to play the adjustment game with Marlon Vera? Both guys are extremely durable. Both guys got good cardio. If this fight goes to the ground, I got to give the edge to Marlon Vera. I think Rob Font is very serviceable on the ground. But when you look at Marlon Vera and you look at him on the ground, he's more dangerous. I mean, it's for my money, he's the more dangerous guy. When you look at their grappling and their striking and their numbers, everything is so aligned and so similar that to make a gauge off metrics and to make a gauge off numbers, even their size. I mean, 71-inch reach, 70-inch reach, 5'8", 5'8". I mean, everything is so parallel. Outside of Rob Font throwing a little bit more volume with the striking, it's hard to really give you that gauge from numbers. So what do you do from there? You have to kind of compare their styles, watch the film, see what you see, and make the call. For my money, I'm going to say that I think Marlon Vera gets a decision here. I don't see these guys finishing each other. I think they're both pretty durable. I think both of their prices are fine in DraftKings. I think if Marlon Vera wins at 7,900, he's going to cover. If Rob Font wins at 8,300, he's going to cover. I'm not looking for major upside with the finish here. Like I said, I think both of these guys are very durable. If there is a finish, I would say it's going to happen later on in the fight. I don't see Rob Font finishing Marlon Vera. I just don't see that happening. If there's a finish in this fight, and you were to call me and tell me who, that somebody got knocked out or somebody got submitted, I would probably guess that Marlon Vera was the one to do it late. So the upside for a finish, slightly in Vera's side. I'm going to go Vera. I'm going to go with the dog here. I'll go Marlon Vera by decision. If you look at their metrics now on DraftKings, 100-plus points, 0 of 5 for Marlon Vera. Current market value, 3 of 5. So he's hitting the 7,900 mark 3 of 5 times, which, you're sitting at 60% if you're doing a 10-lineup run. Rob Font, on the other hand, 2 of 5. 100-plus points, 3 of 5. So he's kind of they're both sitting everywhere. The numbers are very, very parallel. But I just think, like I said, this is going to be a game of can you adjust to me after I finally adjust to you? And I don't think Rob Font's going to be able to make those adjustments as quick and as sharp as Vera does. So I'm going to go Marlon Vera by decision there.